Hello, guys, and thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection, your source for all things Indiana sports, Indiana Hoosiers, and Colts football. This episode, we're going to talk about who's going to be available in the Colts game coming up this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens. Are injuries going to play a huge factor in this game? Let's get right into it after this. But first, Mattress Warehouse, our sponsor. Come see me at Mattress Warehouse. You can see Aaron himself at the Lima Road store or visit any of our locations in Fort Wayne and get that mattress. Get a brand name mattress at a warehouse price. That's how we can stock mattresses for such a cheap price at Mattress Warehouse. We buy them in bulk. We sell them for you for the cheapest prices around. We are the only locally owned mattress store in all of Fort Wayne. Our customer service is top notch. Let our guys set you up, get your bed put together. Most beds can be arranged on a free delivery depending on what mattress that you buy. But Labor Day sales are still in effect until through the end of today. On Tuesday, the Sealy sale ends today. So come in and see us and get your mattress set up before it gets too cold outside and you get yourself all ready for the season. Mattress Warehouse, sleep on it tonight. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson. He is in the concussion protocol. And all sources say right now that he is not going to be playing in the game this Sunday. Also, Ryan Kelly is in the concussion protocol as well. French came in and played for Ryan Kelly during the Texans game and played really, really well. So I'm not that concerned, although he is a Pro Bowl center. Ryan Kelly out with a concussion. It happens. Anthony Richardson, we talked about yesterday, he has to learn to protect himself in these games. He has to make himself available. If he's not able to play in the game this weekend, that severely hurts the team in a very, very bad way. Not only personnel-wise, his electricity on the field, the chance that, like, you can tell when they're playing against teams, they have to watch this guy in the running game almost all the time, have a spy on him. So this is going to deeply affect the Colts and how they're going to play this game against the Ravens. Gardner Minshew, while he is a good player and he is a good backup, and anybody that thinks that he should be starting above Anthony Richardson, I guess you are entitled to your opinion. One thing about this channel, comment down below. If you disagree with me on any of my opinions, this is a show for the fans, made by a fan himself. So comment on the video. Tell me what you think about the Colts. Tell me about what you think about their season this year. Should they be that worried about winning this game against the Ravens? Do you think the Colts will have a chance to make the playoffs this year? I do think, while I see them as like a 5 or 6 win team, I do see, like, by how weak their schedule is, they could somehow squeeze into maybe a wild card at 9 or 10 wins. It's always a possibility. You can never, like, just rule that out that you're going to be that bad of a team because, look, they got one win. They haven't been 500 in 637 days. Thank you to the Horseshoe Huddle for that stat. The stat of the day, 637 days since we've been 500 or even 1-1 as a Colts fan. That's pretty bad. But Anthony Richardson, what do you think that Anthony Richardson's ceiling is going to be as a player in the NFL? Do you think Cam Newton, and this is something I was just talking about to somebody yesterday afternoon, do you think he could be a better player than Cam Newton? Or do you think that where he's at is that if he could get to the status Cam Newton got to in the 2015 season, winning the MVP, being one of the best players in the league, do you think that's the ceiling for Anthony Richardson? I would like to see him try to develop into more, be able to throw the ball better than Cam Newton did. But it's very easy to see that maybe that is the long-term option for Anthony Richardson. I guess really the point of this question is, do you think Anthony Richardson will be able to even play for like 10 or 15 years? Or do you think he's one of those guys, like I view him for the Colts as an option at quarterback, that he's only going to be good for about 5 years? I could definitely see a dispute with Anthony Richardson down the line being almost identical to the type of dispute that the Ravens had with Lamar Jackson. And we saw how that turned out. The Ravens don't really even want Lamar Jackson because they know that the next 5 years of him playing quarterback, he's not going to be near as good as he was in the first 5 years. That being said, you don't want that to be the future for Anthony Richardson, although it may be. The thing is, when quarterbacks run all the time, and we all saw this with Andrew Luck, when you're getting hurt like that, you can't help the team. You're going to be injured for long series of time, long periods of time. You're not going to be on the field. And we can already see how that is affecting this guy just 2 games into the season. The first game, he had a contusion on his knee. There was just a slight bump. But then in the second game, then he runs in the end zone all lackadaisically. And look, I know he's having a good time, but he's got to protect himself. You can't go into the end zone and take a shot like that from a safety and get put flat on your back and hit your head on the ground. You have to be knowing that that guy is going to be coming over and either dive head first into the end zone or angle yourself or slide in a way that you get yourself to the out of bounds marker and you don't take a shot like that. You got to play smart out there. And it's probably super hard to do. Although he did play in the SEC, it's like these safeties in the NFL, they're never going to miss a shot. I know, like during the Texans game, there was a shot where Kenny Moore came over and laid the wood down on C.J. Stroud. He thought, that's the NFL for you right there. It didn't get out of bounds, and Kenny Moore came over and just shellacked him. That's what you're going to have. You have guys like that in the NFL, and they know when you're in bounds, you are going to take a hit. So if you're going to get out of bounds, you better get out of bounds. And if you're going to get down, you better get down so nobody can hit you. You got to protect yourself out there. I would just love to see Anthony Richardson not lose his aggressive nature, but just play a little bit smarter out there so that you can be around in these games. Because if he is out in this Ravens game and Ryan Kelly is out, that's going to be a big, that's your starting center and quarterback out with concussion protocol against the team that we have always struggled against. Lamar Jackson will play in a game against the Colts and look like Joe Montana. Watch him. He'll have like 90% completion. I know the last time they played him in the Monday night game, and the Ravens came back and beat the Colts because their corners were both injured really bad, but Lamar Jackson looked like he was an unstoppable beast in the second half of that game. And then also the last time they lost to the Ravens at home a few years ago when Phillip Rivers tried to make that tackle on Lamar, or on a guy he threw an interception to, tried to make a tackle, but his entire body was underneath the guy when he was trying to tackle him. But Lamar Jackson looked like a world beater in the second half of that game. So we know the Colts and their secondary, and the Colts secondary had major problems. I would say that their secondary was one of the only really bad spots from that Houston game. And going against much better quarterbacks that have seen a lot more stuff out there, they're going to get torched if they can't keep it together against a quarterback like this. So, Anthony Richardson, can he come back? Is he going to be back? We hope so. The next couple days, we're going to find out more about his condition, and then I will report on that to you at that time when we figure out whether or not this guy's going to be out of the concussion protocol in time. I thought he's going to be back. I did not think it looked like a bad concussion at all. I thought he would not be out for more than about 3 or 4 days. So we don't know about that. Maybe the Colts are trying to play some mind games because they can do that a little bit and, make him think that Richardson's out, but he's actually going to play because we all know that Bill Belichick does that all the time. And let's talk a little bit about the Indiana Hoosiers. I did not talk about them at all on Saturday, Sunday, or yesterday. They lost to Louisville. They got behind in that game 21-0. They looked completely awful in the first half. Finally, Tom Allen chose a quarterback. So Jackson's been playing quarterback. He looked much better in the second half of that game. There's 2 players you really got to watch on Indiana. Lucas on offense, and then the middle linebacker, Cody on defense, number 44. The guy making all the tackles, and I might have said his name wrong, but number 44 on the defense, he's been playing lights out. The Hoosiers had a couple of corners go out in that game, their starters. They came back. They couldn't tie the game up on a 4th and 1 from the goal line. Just looked abysmal. And then they came back in the second half and then just weren't able to get the ball over the goal line on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. So the Indiana Hoosiers not having a really great season. I am a realist when it comes to Indiana football. I know they stink. I still root for them. Something I might talk about this weekend a little bit more is Notre Dame, Ohio State, because Notre Dame is an in-team state. But we're going to definitely see a little bit more of like what Notre Dame and Ohio State are made of in this game coming up this Saturday. Should be a really great game, one I'm really looking forward to. But Colts Ravens, Colts right now, big time underdogs in this game. They're going up against the team that is the best coach team that they've played this entire year. We're really going to see how they stack up against a team that will run the ball every which way. And the Colts have a really great running defense, but will they be able to keep Jackson in the pocket and make him throw from the pocket and not run off some of these big gains against the Colts? We're going to find out this Sunday. But for this week, we relish in the victory. The Colts beat the Texans. They're in the win column. We raise our expectations up. So we think that the Colts can maybe have like close to a 500 season. Is it possible? Could they get into the playoffs? We're just going to find out this next week. Let's pray for Anthony Richardson that he can come back and play in this game, because having both him and Lamar Jackson on the field at the same time, it should be electric. It's a game, when I saw the schedule come out, that I thought, oh, this is going to be a great running quarterback game with these 2 guys on the field going up against each other. It's like yin and yang. But I think Anthony Richardson, even though they're saying he's going to be out this week, I still am believing that he's going to be able to play in this game. So let's just hope that he can make that happen. And until next time, stay classy out there, Colts fans.